We have a great inflow regarding on our ETF launches and Ethereum ETF at the same time. We saw there's a lot of in-kind subscription coming in, so hopefully there will be more flows coming on as the BTC is going to go further.
Hello and welcome to Markets Daily, a show where we bring you insights from the smartest people in this industry. Whether you're looking for an explanation of what's going on in crypto markets or you want to get an expert's outlook on prices, this is the place to be. It's Wednesday, May 8th, and I'm Helene Braun. Thank you so much for tuning in. You may have noticed I was off for a week, but not much has changed in crypto, which is very unusual, but lucky for me. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are still hovering around the same mark. Bitcoin around $62,000 and Ether is still under $3,000. Meanwhile, the spot Bitcoin ETFs continue their relatively low inflow streak, but we'll talk more about that in a second with our guests, and we'll be chatting about the Hong Kong-listed ETFs today as well, which our guest today, who's joining us from Asia, knows a great deal about. So let's bring her in. We have HashKey Capital partner and head of asset management, Vivien Wong, with us today. Welcome.
Thanks a lot, Helene. Hi, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning and good night to you over in Asia. Vivien, we do this thing where we ask every guest about their call of the day at the beginning of the show. From where you're sitting in Hong Kong, what's yours today?
We have a great inflow regarding on our ETF launches. So there's more inflow regarding on our Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF at the same time. We saw there's a lot of in-kind subscription coming in. So hopefully there will be more flows coming on as the BTC is going to go further.
Speaking of the Hong Kong ETFs and HashKey is an issuer of one of the ETFs. How much are people talking about the spot Bitcoin ETFs over in Asia? Is it considered to be a big deal over there? Because here in the US, people sort of lost interest a little bit in the Hong Kong ETFs because of the relatively small market that you guys have over there. So what have the conversations been like over in Hong Kong?
I believe in Hong Kong and especially in Asia that there's a lot of traction with this ETF product because this is Asia's very first one, and then we take a first mover advantage of launching the Ethereum ETF as well. And remember that we are pioneer regarding on in-kind subscription as well. So we noticed that there are a lot of crypto native people who's interested to make an investment by in-kind subscription and then to get transfer in order to get into in-kind redemption, or they can get back to cash. So this incentivized them to make subscription to this product. So I guess although US investors may think about why I should be investing into this ETF particularly, I think it definitely is something which they should be taking cautious and then at the same time making sure that they have attention with that.
So are you seeing most of the flows and the volume coming from crypto native companies then, as opposed to institutional investors? Because that was, one of the things that investors got really excited about here in the US, that a lot of institutional investors participated in this sort of ETF, craziness.
Okay, among those 3 Bitcoin ETFs, currently the AUM size is around $263 million, which is kind of big comparing to other ETF products in Hong Kong. And then we see there's a lot of institutional joining, family offices, and also retail clients are also talking about these ETF products. So not just about crypto native people, but also from TradFi people as well. So I believe that our funds has a very good attention between the two layers of people, whether talking about TradFi or DeFi people.
So talking about the ETFs and investors, did you before filing the application know or assume that mainland Chinese investors wouldn't be able to have access to these ETFs, or was that a surprise? And how much does that negatively impact the business for you?
We have already predicted, our firm-wise prediction is around $500 million to $1 billion of US dollar for these ETF products. So excluding the fact that we understand that Chinese at this moment were not able to invest to the fund. So we do not have kind of we have kind of a very promising figures right now as we progress to the second week of the launch.
Mm-hmm. How much would that prediction change if mainland Chinese investors were to have access to these ETFs, which I know there have been rumors about that happening last week?
We do heard some rumor about Chinese investors, of course, due to geopolitical reasons that at this moment we are not too sure about the situation. But if there's more Chinese investors or more Asian investors coming in, that would definitely boom up our AUM size for all these ETF products as well, especially in Asia time.
Vivien, how is HashKey competing with the other ETF issuers in Hong Kong and in the US as well?
Oh, I guess our specialty here is that we work with Busara. Busara is a very traditional ETF provider in China, ranking top 3. So we are one of the very first mover in Hong Kong to launch HashKey Exchange and also having the HashKey Capital. So everyone knows that a combination, a consortium, I would say, between Busara and HashKey is definitely something which we are looking for. The reason being is that through this technical perspective on ETF angle, Busara is the one to offer this expertise. While for VA angles, virtual asset angles, that on technical perspective, on trading wise, HashKey is definitely the very first and one of the very, promising and professional institutions which provide the service. And regarding on the combination of our clientele, you can see that we have a lot of inflows from crypto native person and also from the TradFi person. So a great combination of both, institutions and also investors, retail investors, is something which we achieve at the moment because of our consortium.
Are there any other exciting projects that you're working on with Busara right now?
At this moment, we are very focused on pitching this ETF product. We want to make sure that we have enough AUM and also trading flow. As you've just mentioned that maybe US investors are kind of upset about our AUM, but for myself, I think this is along our expectation. It's actually performing pretty well. And then we see that more inflows are coming in. That's something which we believe that we will have more inflows coming onward because currently the BTC pricing is around 62K, right? So we see that there will be more and more investors who's looking forward for investing to BTC to come into our product.
So just zooming out here for a second, China has one of the strictest policy when it comes to crypto, yet we continue to see the market there grow like no other. What's your outlook on the country's stance on the industry? Do you think lawmakers will become more friendly towards crypto in the near future?
I think this is a good question. I think Hong Kong will definitely set an example to China, meaning that the success for launching ETF products or other crypto native crypto products or Web3 products will definitely bring a good idea to China whether this product should be launched in China as well.
So Vivien, here in the US, we have 2 big events coming up this month in the ETF world. On May 15th, all institutional investors over 100 million in assets under management have to disclose their holdings. And on May 23rd, the SEC will likely decline an Ether ETF. Now, some think that both these events could be a catalyst for Bitcoin. What do you expect the impact of these events to be on the market? Or what's your general outlook on Bitcoin this month and for the end of the year?
I think in general, right now, there is definitely a correction because of all these Fed providing, and also SEC has been suing some of the companies like Coinbase, Kraken, or Binance, right? So definitely there is kind of correction which we are seeing right now. A couple of consolidation as well this week, but then going forward, our expectation is it is pretty much supportive in around something around 60K, and then it definitely will reach around 100K as there is more demand from the Asian market and also in the US market.
I want to talk more about Asia for a second because I am curious to hear from you what conversations there look like in the industry. What are people most excited about over in Asia besides the ETFs currently?
I think that at this moment that they are very excited about having a regulated OTC OTC firm because as far as everyone understands that currently there's only like Singapore having all this license, and we are one of those who get MAS approval. And then coming forward, Hong Kong is going to get provide a license as well. So everyone's just hoping very much that they can be involved in the Hong Kong market.
What do investors think about or say about the US and the SEC's crackdown on crypto here in the US? Is that something that is talked about over in Asia?
They haven't talked much. I mean, in general, regarding on macro perspective, of course, they talk a lot about how SEC has been thinking about the upcoming news, especially whether the ETFs gonna be banned or not. This is definitely one of the catalysts or one of the restrictions, after all, to face in front of the market. But at the same time, we are very optimistic about how it grows in Asia, especially as we've mentioned that 2 weeks ago, we launched this ETF product. And then there's a lot of private banks, there's a lot of family office or even endowments in Asia asking us whether they can get exposure. So they are ready for more education from our company and also the industry to learn more about the products.
Now, is that exposure to Bitcoin specifically or other cryptos as well?
I would say it's gradually. They started to want to know more about like Bitcoin. And then they asked several questions about the blockchain industry. And then they've been more concerned about what will SEC do in the next step, and then whether it's correlated to S&P market. So there's a lot of question flowing around from the TradFi market that they want to know more about this industry. But particularly, they started off with Bitcoin. So that's why I think that this is a very good opportunity for us to launch this product, which they will be able to facilitate all the interests.
Are traditional financial banks in Asia interested in tokenization? Because that's been a huge topic among, big banks here in the US. Is that something that's of interest?
Banks have been currently talking with our regulators regarding on tokenization.
Right.
So as probably I mentioned before, that SFC, our regulator, is very cautious about every measurements which we can do. So we talk to different providers, we negotiate, lobby around, and at the same time talking with individuals like investors whether there's more traction about this product before we'll be able to secure a launch there and provide a license. So they are working very hard, I would say the banks and also institutions, to make sure that we can launch a tokenized product in order to entertain all these clients.
All right. Well, that's great to hear. And thank you, Vivien, so much for joining us this morning. This was awesome.
Thanks a lot.
That was Vivien Wong, HashKey Capital Partner and Head of Asset Management. Thank you for tuning in to Markets Daily today. Leave a comment if you want us to bring more experts based in Asia. If that's something you're interested in, or maybe if you're based there yourself, we're always open to your suggestions. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Helene Braun, and I'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. So I'll see you then.